Well, 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 well. Look who is live. Oh my goodness. I could not keep quiet. I'm not even in a place to do a live. It's just, I must. Okay, today is March 13th, correct? Are you feeling it? I bet you are. Boy, I tell you, it is always ecstatic when you're in tune and you are confident and you have a certain level of just being free with the intuneness, that sometimes you're just compelled to do things and say things that just don't line up and make sense with what everybody else is doing. Well, I am here to tell you that I am glad to be in the lane that I am in. I want to share some things with you. I know you're feeling it today. I know you're feeling it. If you have any social media, you are feeling it. And you know what? I'm not even coming to tell you what I believe is going on. I'm not here to shed any light, even though I believe that I could, but I'm not. You know, sometimes people are so adamant in what they're doing that they can't be moved. And it seems like a lot of that has been going on for a while. You know, people don't want to listen, people don't want to pay attention, you know, and it gets to a point that when you attempt and you attempt and you attempt to share, that you're repeatedly rejected, that you get to a point and you say, F it. And so it seems to be that that is what's going on now. A lot of people are confused. They think they know what's going on while they're not able to swim within these social waters the way that they're accustomed to. I'm going to remind you of something. Okay? Have you ever seen the movie Insurgent or Divergent? If you haven't, and if you've been thinking about watching it, you should do so. Come on, people. They make it simple and they make it plain. They demonstrate to you what it is that needs to be said and done. I've been saying this for a while. You can or you can choose not to believe in astrology. But by golly, if you wake up every morning and you acknowledge the day, I'm going to stop right there. You believe in the concept of astrology and astronomy. You have no other choice because you exist within the realm that is part of its rudimentary aspects. And if you keep the days of the week, just that alone, then there you do have a belief that it is accurate, especially if you use those days to accomplish goals. All right. When you're looking at your natal chart, okay, and you're looking at the houses, you know, you have individuals on YouTube that explain it. I'm going to make one aspect about my Jupiter. You get what I'm saying? When I look at my chart and I look at my Jupiter, there's an indication to me that I have a certain amount of cosmic protection from Jupiter. And before I even read that, I always was aware of that because growing up, going through different trials and tribulations, and then looking at others who went through the same thing, it always felt to me, even as a small child, that there was something protecting me. There was something watching over me, and I have never, ever not reverenced that. I don't give a cat's tail or a rat's nut of what it is. I don't care if someone were to come in and say, well, I can break it down and tell you what it is. I'm not interested in that. Sometimes you're just so appreciative of the act that you don't sit and need to have to break shit down. And that's the way I am about the way Jupiter protects me. So let's go back to my point that I'm making with all of this. That protection that I have has shielded me, and it's going to continue to shield me, and I'm going to continue to respect it and reverence it as it should be. Saturn has come to take out the trash. I've even made a video about this before, and I guarantee you it did not get over 100 views or even over 7 likes. But Saturn is exactly what that is, whether you believe in it or not. And it is the trash man. It comes in and cosmically, it comes in and takes out the trash. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care who your mama is. It doesn't care about your bloodline. It doesn't care if you have 90,000 subs or a million subs. It doesn't care if you have a huge following and you have a lot of yes men. And it doesn't care if you don't have any views or hardly any subs like I have. And I understand that because Saturn doesn't care about me. Saturn only cares about carrying out its obligation and its job. And I taught you guys once about the hot potato effect. This is how I teach children about not being caught by Saturn because somebody threw you the effing hot potato. There are occurrences in this earth that people deem heinous. They deem it egregious. They deem it just heartbreaking. And have you ever wondered why your assessment of a lot of people actually being guilty of this get away with this? Well, let me tell you what I know. And it is because of the hot potato effect. That is what I deem it. Okay, when you play hot potato, there's someone who starts the game with the potato in their hand. And the object of the game is to toss it, that at the end of the session of competition, that you're not caught with the hot potato. And that is what is going on in society. There have been people that have even created the idea of the hot potato and have devised ways to make sure that it does not end up in their hand. And that's why you see all of these things coming out. People are being revealed as to who they are because Saturn does not come to play. There has been excesses when it comes to utilizing Saturn energy in this realm. And I deem it excesses because that is how I'm discerning it. So, you understand what Saturn is, you understand that energy in this realm, and entities, systems, governments have utilized it to get their way in all of this. So now it's time for judgment, and I have videos that have been warning you of this. So now you're beginning to feel the level and extent of your judgment that has been placed on you based on your activity in this 3D realm. Period. Point blank. And people can say, okay, well, I don't believe her. Well, then don't believe me. But when you go in your private time and you begin to, in secret, struggle with your own reality, just remember me telling you this. This is all on you. Male or female, big or smart, dumb or small, retarded or intelligent, black or white, Asian, European, Neanderthal, whatever. It does not matter. I made a video months ago, and it has not been one that many people have watched, but I've done my part because I have shared based on how I've been compelled to share. There is no excuse because we've all been warned. We've all been given warning that most of us don't take heed to. If there is an imbalance in a society where people are deceitful and super knowledgeable, lacking accumulated wisdom, just, arrogant, lazy, selfish, I could go on and on. Of course, when the way out of this comes to help you out of your impending judgment that you don't want to face, the answer is going to always be something that you're not going to be readily to receive, because then it wouldn't be an answer to your potential woe if it was given to you in a way that you like it. It's like strong medicine. Who really wants to take the strong medicine that's going to heal you? Most people don't, because it takes a lot physically for you to just mentally put it in your mouth and ingest it and swallow it, because it may not taste like the gummy bears you eat or the fast food that you frequent or even the soul food that you eat. It's going to taste different. And so you've been conditioned and trained to eat trash. So when that strong medicine comes, your body's going to reject it. That's what this is like. And I knew that something big was coming because yesterday I wanted to share. It was a special day for me, the 12th. It marks the 20-year mark that my mother transitioned out of this earth. And I don't talk about her. I don't talk about her passing much, but and her transition. But I knew today was going to be special, and it has been. I got out early and did what I had to do. It was beautiful. The sky was this beautiful, deep blue toned violet. The clouds were fluffy and flowing. There wasn't one chemtrail. And I got out, did what I had to do, came back in and took me a huge needed rest. And when I woke up, I had rest on during the nap that I woke up and I didn't know whether it was morning or evening. So I just had to come and share. I'm able to go live. Are you? Anyway, if you get a chance and you don't want to listen to what I have to say, watch the movie Insurgent and Divergent. Sweetheart, those movies are made to confess, because you can't do things to people in this realm when you're using energy attached to Saturn without telling them what you're going to do. Because once you tell them and they don't want to believe it, whether it's in just fun, whatever, it's up to you to take the information and process it. If you treat it as entertainment only, that's on you. It's no longer on the systems that are doing this. And that's why I don't have a desire to revolt. I don't have a desire to go against, quote unquote, white people or the oppressor or whatever, because I'm not a slave. Yes, do I operate in this 3D realm? But no, if you listening to this video and you go through any of my videos, you can tell I don't give a F about what anybody thinks or says. I march to the beat of my own drum. That's freedom. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not popular because I'm free. The only thing that's that is popular is slave mentality, slave ideas, slave concepts. That is where slaves gravitate to. Slaves who don't know that they're free and they're still being oppressed, angry and upset with someone because they're free, because they're displaying traits and they're displaying tendencies and they're accomplishing things that you yourself can't even conceptualize anymore, because you choose to be a slave, following somebody else for them to show you the way, or looking to come on this platform to have this change and augment your life in a way that's going to make your dreams come true. Fully, that's not going to happen. You are here because you are an agent and you have agreed to use the terms of this platform based on the way that the platform has presented it. I don't have a desire to go against that because I'm no slave. If I come here and I agree, only a fool would think that they could change what's going on based on just words alone or videos or speaking out on it. Come on, people. Come on. So don't, be surprised with all this unveiling. I don't shed my emotions on these subjects because I understand. People say it's psyops. Okay, and they say, oh, they're put out to gather your emotions. Okay, maybe it is. Or maybe it just could be a way of just revealing your faction. And what faction are you in all of this? If we're separated by categories and the movie Insurgent and Divergent shows you what factions are, have you ever thought about what faction you are in? Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for allowing me to go live, YouTube. I know a lot of people cannot. And it's not because I find favor in your eyesight. I know that. I know it has a lot to do with some other things. So, guys, I don't know what else to say to you. I'm not going to try to help you out. I'm not going to try to show you the way because you haven't listened thus far. I'm just doing me, and I'm compelled, and this is what I had to share. So I'm grateful. I'm ecstatic. And I'm just going to sit back and watch. And this, I will put my emotions on. And it will be joyous because when you know something and nobody else is wanting to listen and you know that it's going to protect you. I've been here before. I've been here many times. And you stick to it and you have people look at you and say, oh, you're crazy, or look at you side eye, or they even shun you. They even get in dark corners and murmur and devise to have people not listen. I've been here before. But I tell you this, in each and every one of those situations throughout my 55 years of living, I have never been forsaken. And when I got to the end of that tape, I won. It happened when that child molester, sexual predator tried to kidnap me. I could go on and on. Even when, I'll share this. Now, there are videos on YouTube by agents who were sitting to expose that Hurricane Katrina was planned by the elites. Okay? And a lot of people suffered. There's still people that are suffering, they say, from post-traumatic stress. Now, I didn't. And I lived in New Orleans. And I'm going to tell you why. When I lived in New Orleans for 13 years with my children, I was at a point in my life that I just needed to augment my cosmic and my spiritual existence. And I left the marriage that I was in that was oppressing me, and I began to be celibate. I separated myself from foolishness, and I just began to have these dreams and vivid, just, how should I say it, moments. And I would be shown things and I would tell people and they didn't understand, and then it would come to pass. One of the things that happened that I want to share now is I lived near the levees. My sister lived on Pacific Avenue, which was a very hard hit area after Katrina and the floodgates opened. I went to sleep one day and I was shown in a dream, if I did not take my children and leave, that we would drown and die. I was like, okay, drown and die. If you drown, you're dead. And I kept saying, okay, that doesn't make sense. But I didn't question whether or not it was authentic because I acted on it. I woke up and I shared with my mom, who was living in New Orleans with my sister at the time and her husband and her children. And she was like, baby, she said, I've seen it before. And I've always said that you're my little prophet. That was the joke between both of us. And she said, if that's what you see, then act on it. And I shared it with my sister. And so I decided that I was going to leave. Now, I left in haste because I was, so adamant about it. But I think I could have taken a little extra time. But anyway, I did what I did. I sold all my possessions. Only thing that I took with me was what I needed to start over. I left. And when I left, I was told I was not to come back until I came back with my husband, whomever it was. And I was like, wow. So I left and I moved to Texas. I was there maybe 6 weeks, and we knew my mother had been ailing with her shoulder. We thought it was arthritis and bursitis because previously, 5 years before that, she had cancer. And it had metastasized to a certain degree, and they removed her breast. And they said she had a 5-year window of whether or not it would, metastasize and increase more with removing the breast mass. So I was there for 6 weeks, and I got a call, and she told me that she had gone and changed doctors because she got a new job. And when she went to the doctor ran tests, and he came back and he had a piece of paper and a pencil. He drew a pond, which looked like a pond with water, and then he colored in the bottom part and he put it on the wall. He said, this is a pond. This at the bottom is scum. This is you. I was very upset about that. When I heard about it, I wanted to call him and give him a piece of my mind, but I was more so about helping my mother to recover. I wanted her to recover. And so when he told her that, you know, we would talk often, and I was like, we're gonna get through this. And there'll be days that I could barely understand what she was saying, and then the day afterwards, she would be as if she was well. And so I was encouraged. And so very spiritual woman came to me and she said, "Look, I'm here to tell you." She said, "I don't know your mother, but it was shown to me she's not going to make it. You need to go see her." And I said I couldn't go home, and I struggled with that. And I was like, man, bump this. That's my mom. I only get one mom. So I planned to go and see her. I got the children out of school for a few days, packed the vehicle up, and we were going to make the trip. My mother called me. She said, "Don't come." My heart dropped. She said, "I won't be able to enjoy you." She said, "But I will see you again." She said, "Don't worry." That conversation, the next day, my mom passed away. I processed that and went through my ups and downs, which was on March the 12th. And years passed. And so, 7 years to the date of me leaving New Orleans, I used to be a blogger. And I was just going through, like, I felt something was about to happen, and I was blogging about it. And, y'all had some people who could relate, and they themselves were experiencing the same thing. And I began to investigate, and I saw that a hurricane was coming toward New Orleans. Now, I had friends that were in New Orleans, so I was concerned about them. Still hadn't put two and two together. When I began to focus on the storm, I knew that the storm was going to be connected to what I was discerning and feeling in my spirit. So the storm came 7 days to the year that I left New Orleans. And when I woke up the next morning to look at the aftermath, I was like, well, this is not that catastrophic because I've experienced Camille, Hurricane Frederick, Hugo. I could just go on and on. And it seemed as if what I had gone through as an after effect was worse than what I was seeing. I was like, this doesn't add up. Something's not right. And I don't watch the news, but I was watching the news and I was looking at the images of what they were showing. And then all of a sudden, there was this image of the gates breaking with the levee. And I heard the same voice that told me to leave say, "That's what I was talking about." And I remember I had chill bumps and I was like, oh my gosh. So I began to become just interested in what was transpiring. And I forgot to add this as well. When I told my mother passed away, so my sister and my brother-in-law and their children were left in New Orleans. And he went to sleep and he woke up. This man has never left the West Bank of New Orleans. All his family was there. And he woke up and he said, "We're leaving." And she was like, "What do you mean we're leaving?" He said, "We're leaving and we're going to Texas." And she was like, "Yeah, right." He was like, "No, I'm serious." He said, "I'm making a decision." He said, "I just cannot forget what Yin said about that dream and we're leaving." And they packed up and left. They didn't have a place to stay. They had to live with people. And that was so out of the ordinary for my sister and her husband because they just didn't function that way. So it was a adjustment process for them, and for them to make that decision based on the conditions that they were living in and living with others, I knew that he meant and he was sincere. So after the levees broke and the mayhem was and the chaos was evident, the area where my sister lived was one of the hardest hit areas, the place that she and her family moved from. If I had not decided to leave and follow the dream that was given to me, and my sister and her family had stayed, because of her living arrangements and the more space, and that was my sister, and because we've rode out previous hurricanes together, I would have stayed at her house. And we would have drowned and died because we wouldn't have made it. Because we weren't thinking that we couldn't survive a storm. So we wouldn't have been prepared. You get what I'm saying? And I would have lost out. So I had to share that. Gotta go. Got somebody knocking at my door. Care about you guys. Bye. Peace.